Hello everyone, this is Harry's Movie. In this issue, let's look at a story about grabbing gold. At the beginning of the film, a group of thieves headed by Charlie came to Venice. Their goal this time was to steal a batch of gold worth $35 million. This lot of gold was in a safe place on the second floor of a residential building. Steve came to the first floor and installed a bomb on the ceiling according to the exact position of the safe. Others followed the same method with bombs on the top of the boathouse below the first floor. The safe disappeared in front of the guards as soon as the bomb exploded. When they saw that the safe was stolen on the boat, they chased after him. In fact, this was Charlie and the others' plan to adjust the Tiger away from the mountain. The real safe fell into the river below the boathouse. After the unpacking expert, John opened the safe, everyone fled underwater with gold. Everyone holding huge sums of money was thinking about how to spend it. John had a lot of insights. He told Charlie that there were two kinds of thieves in this world. One was stealing for money, the other was stealing for wanting to steal. He didn't want Charlie to be the latter and ignored the meaning of life. When they drove to a bridge, they were stopped by vehicles in front and behind. Steve suddenly took out the gun and pointed it at him. It turned out that Steve, the second and fifth boy, wanted to swallow all the gold. John was slapped by Steve as soon as he wanted to say something cruel. Charlie and others wanted to smash the car in front and rushed over. But because the bridge was too narrow, the car rushed out of the guardrail and fell into the river. After Steve shot wildly at the river and saw that the river surface was silent, thinking that Charlie and they were all dead, so they left. Several people underwater survived by hiding in the car with oxygen cylinders. But John was shot and killed. A year later, John's daughter Stella inherited her father's business and she became a safe expert. But she was not a thief but worked for the police. Charlie told Stella that they had found Steve in Los Angeles. The batch of gold bricks that Steve swallowed was engraved with Paris Island dances. Through a friend named Skinny Pete, Charlie knew that there was a big buyer in Los Angeles who was eating these gold bricks. They also found out that Steve had installed Worthington's insurance device to keep the gold bricks. But they couldn't deal with this security system, so he wanted to ask Stella for help. Unexpectedly, Stella refused. In the evening, Stella came home and saw his father's photo. The idea of revenge for her father grew stronger. She immediately called and agreed to join Charlie's actions. Each of the four members of the team had unique skills. Lyle was a computer genius. He claimed that he wrote the famous Napster software. Left Ear was a blasting expert and could blow up the toilet at school when he was 10 years old. The handsome guy Jason, the super driver, could circle the earth several times. Then they came to Los Angeles to survey the situation near Steve's mansion. Charlie was responsible for the overall planning of the action, and the others worked together. To take pictures of the internal structure, Charlie was about to destroy the cables in Steve's house and sent a repairman in. Because Steve thought they were all dead, so now only Stella could complete this segment. Jason sacrificed his sexual appeal to get on work clothes and became a worker. Then Stella dressed up as a staff member wearing a miniature camera to enter into Steve's house and successfully took a picture of the safe. Steve became interested in beautiful Stella and wanted to invite her to dinner. To create a chance to act, Stella set the date on Friday night. Steve went to the Yevhen's jewelry trading house to sell gold bricks again that day. Yevhen had no intention of recognizing that these were the gold bricks stolen in Venice. Steve killed Yevhen for fear of his leaking secrets. But this scene was filmed by store surveillance. Yevhen's cousin Mashkov was a gang leader. After seeing Yevhen being shot, he started looking for the murderer and finally found Charlie's friend Skinny Pete based on the clues from the gold. Because Skinny Pete once went to the store to inquire about these gold bricks carved with Paris Island dances, on Friday night, Charlie started acting when he saw Steve go out. Unexpectedly, Steve's neighbors were having a party that day. The blast would attract too many people's attention and they had to cancel the action. In order not to disturb Steve, Stella had to go to the restaurant for the appointment, but Stella accidentally said something during the chat that John often said on his lips, revealing her identity. Stella sent out a distress signal when she saw his identity. Charlie and others immediately appeared in front of Steve. Steve knew they would steal the gold as long as they were alive. So he prepared to use helicopters and armored vehicles to transport the gold out of the mansion and then transferred by cargo plane. After knowing the news, Charlie decided to do it in transit. But there were many routes to the airport, he didn't know which one was going to go. And they couldn't deal with armored trucks during peak traffic. Charlie decided to let Lyle hack into the transportation system. Except for the designated route, all other driving routes were blocked, which forced the truck to travel to a pre-arranged location. Then they would use the same method in Venice to steal the gold. At this time, Skinny Pete called and blamed Charlie for killing the shop owner Yevhen. Yevhen's cousin must seek revenge from Charlie. Charlie knew it was useless to explain now, but he quickly thought of a plan. Here Steve prepared 3 armored trucks to confuse Charlie. A motorcycle escorted followed behind the trucks. And he was sitting inside the helicopter and sulking in the air. Charlie found that the body of the armored car with gold must be relatively low. So Lyle quickly found the target vehicle based on the body value and then invaded the traffic command system, causing the traffic on the road to be chaotic and out of control. The target truck blocked on the road followed Lyle's signal lights and drove step by step to the arranged position. At this time, Charlie and others drove to the subway track. When the standard truck stopped at a predetermined location, they activated the pre-installed bomb. The whole truck fell instantly in front of Charlie and others. When they opened the door of the truck, they found out that Steve had changed the safe. After reading it, Stella said that this safe had a glass anti-theft system. Behind the door was a large piece of glass. If the position of the drill hole slightly deviated, the inner steel bar would lock the door and the safe couldn't be opened. Stella had to stop after drilling halfway with an electric drill. When she could no longer borrow modern tools, Stella opened the safe with her innate keen sense of touch. The gold in the safe was estimated to be worth $27 million. Steve sent a motorcyclist to chase after the truck which was missing. But the nearest entrance to the subway track was blocked. After the motorcyclist entered the track, Charlie and others had already carried the gold. Then they drove to the ground through the sewer. The motorcyclists were all knocked over during the chase. Steve in the helicopter chased Charlie. After driving Charlie to death, he blocked his way. But Charlie left from the high-speed car beside. When Steve saw this, he grabbed a car and chased after him. Charlie and others drove to the planned place and parked the car in the train compartment. Steve went to see the cars in the carriage after they left. Charlie suddenly appeared in front of him. When he just wanted to use a gun, he was subdued by Mashgarv. The other party already knew that Steve was the one who killed Yevhen. Not only that, Charlie gave out a box of gold to ask him for help. Steve finally got revenge. Everyone with a huge amount of money in their hands lived the life they had longed for. And Charlie, the true winner of life, won the heart of Goddess Stella. Okay, this is the end of this issue. Friends who like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you next time.